If you notice that you are in a slump all the time and it feels like your energy levels are on the floor, we need to talk about that. Having good energy is a sign of good health, and when we're feeling tired all the time, this is a sign that something is not going right and we need to look into it. Sometimes being tired can be for obvious reasons such as we're not getting enough sleep, and it can also be for health reasons such as thyroid issues. So sometimes being tired, there is an actual reason for it. But I do find a lot of the time people are tired because of their lifestyle habits, and little tiny fixes in their habits may actually be enough to improve your natural energy levels. Now, I could tell you to just have a coffee or a tea which contain natural caffeine, but I'm not going to do that in this video. But I want to show you ways to improve your energy levels naturally through lifestyle habits so that you don't have to rely on stimulants if you don't want to. And if you want to have a coffee or tea outside of these lifestyle habits, then by all means feel free to. But before we get started, my name is Katie. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer, and my goal is to help you achieve health and wellness through easy and affordable ways. If you haven't yet, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Your support helps me reach more people like you. So here are 5 daily habits to naturally increase your energy levels. The first thing to improve your energy levels is to get sunlight. I know that we have been told to watch our sun exposure because it is harmful for our skin. It causes it to age and it can increase your risk of skin cancer. So we do need to be mindful of that. But I do believe there is benefit to getting some sun exposure. First of all, if you've ever seen a dog or a cat, you know that they naturally like to go sit in the sunny spot of the house. And it just makes sense to me that as humans, as animals, the sun does provide vital energy that is important for our well-being. But I do think that we can all agree that after being out in the sun for a little bit of time, we do feel more energized and we do feel better overall. Usually I find, especially after the winter, one of the first sunny days of the year, everyone is in a great mood. We've had our vitamin D and it's a great time. So I think as long as we find a balance between the extremes, getting a bit of sunlight, I do believe is going to help improve your energy levels. Also, there has been research to show that getting exposure to sun in the morning, it seems to be about 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., can actually help improve our energy levels and our sleep quality. And this is based on what's called our circadian clock, or our 24-hour clock. Now, this clock is most sensitive to light in the morning, usually about 1 hour after you've woken up, and just before bedtime, about 2 hours before you're going to go to sleep. And it makes sense if you think about it. So our circadian clock is to allow our energy levels to naturally go up and down and to make sure that we're waking up at the right time and we're going to bed at the right time. So by getting exposure to light in the morning, this tells our body to naturally start waking up. And the same thing at nighttime, when the sun goes down and it becomes dark out, this is an indication, hey, it's starting to be that time where we need to start preparing to go to bed. And this is why you hear a lot of health experts actually recommend that you don't have blue light exposure about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. And things that have blue light would be things like your cell phone, your TV, your laptop, or anything with a screen. Also, really bright white lights would also be something I would try to avoid late in the night. And it's also advised to get exposure to light in the morning, ideally through sunshine. So when you wake up, opening the blinds right away to get in some sunlight is a really good idea. If you live in Canada or somewhere where it's really dark out, or it might be really gloomy and there's cloud coverage, then even having exposure to light, so making sure you're flicking on the light first thing in the morning, can help to naturally release hormones to help you wake up. If you really want to be a go-getter, it would be an awesome idea to actually go outside. So whether that's having a coffee on your porch or actually going for a morning walk, this is a great way to actually be outside, get some fresh air, and potentially to get some vitamin D as well. The one thing to keep in mind is that if you wear sunglasses a lot, I wear sunglasses all the time, it might be a good idea to actually take them off for just a small period of time, 10-15 minutes, to actually allow some sunlight to get into your eyes. Now, obviously, we don't want to stare at the sun directly and damage our eyes. So what I usually like to do is I like to take my sunglasses off anytime the sun is behind me, so I'm not looking directly at the sun. Or for example, if I'm sitting on my porch having a coffee, then I make sure not to wear sunglasses so I can let some natural sunlight get in. And then once it gets later in the day when the sun is really, really strong, then I definitely make sure to wear sunglasses because I do want to protect my eyes, and I also don't want to squint too much. Also, ideally, if you can do it in the early morning to get outside and get some natural sun onto your skin, 15 minutes is all you need to naturally synthesize vitamin D to a high enough level that you need. That would just be another additional thing I would recommend to naturally get some vitamin D, and it could potentially help increase your energy levels as well. Now, I do want to be very clear that I do think it's really important to wear sunscreen, and I do wear sunscreen a lot. It's really important because it does protect our skin from aging, but it also does protect our skin from developing skin cancer as well. So I'm not saying not to wear sunscreen. I just think we need to have that balance again, where during the really hot times where there's a lot of sun exposure, please protect your skin. In the morning when the sun's not so strong, you could probably go a little bit of time without sunscreen just to get some natural sun exposure and then cover up. And of course, make sure you're protecting your skin and your eyes during periods when the sun is really strong. Depending on where you live, the time might change, but usually it's about 10 a.m. to about 3 p.m. That's when the sun is really, really strong. So making sure you're doing the right thing and protecting your skin and eyes then is a really good idea. So at the end of the day, just making sure that you're getting some light in your life is going to help improve your energy levels. The second thing you can do to naturally increase your energy levels is to eat nourishing and filling meals. It can be really easy to just haphazardly grab something quick to eat and not putting much thought into it. But the foods we eat can greatly affect our energy levels. For instance, having a really sugary breakfast cereal in the morning isn't going to help your energy levels much. When you eat something that's really high in sugar and low in fiber, what ends up happening is you eat the food, and because they're simple sugars, they get absorbed into our bloodstream really fast. And this causes a really big jump in our blood sugar levels, so you feel really energized temporarily pretty quickly. But then what happens is it goes up really fast, and same thing, it drops really fast, and so your blood sugar levels go down just as fast. This causes a really big decrease in our energy levels, and you might actually feel really hungry maybe an hour after eating, or you may all of a sudden just feel really tired, and that's due to fluctuations in your blood sugar levels. Instead, it's a really good idea to focus on getting fiber and protein in all of your meals. And the reason why is because both fiber and protein take longer to digest, and so you're going to feel fuller a lot longer after your meals, but this also helps to slow down the increase in blood sugar. So what ends up happening is when you eat a meal that's high in fiber and protein, any type of carbohydrate that you're consuming with it is going to slowly get digested and slowly get absorbed. So your blood sugar levels are naturally going to increase slowly. And the same thing happens is that gradually they'll start to go down. And this causes our blood sugar levels to have more of a baseline where it's not fluctuating too much instead of a rapid up and down effect. Also, our body needs nutrients. The reason why we need nutrients is because it helps with our energy levels. It helps our body to function properly. So first we need macronutrients. So think of fat, protein, and carbohydrates. But we also need micronutrients. So think your vitamins, your minerals, your phytonutrients, antioxidants, things like that that are going to help our cells do their job. The best way to think of it is if you were to take diesel and put it into your car. Obviously, it's the wrong type of fuel and it's not going to function properly. Instead, if you were to put the right type of gas in your car, it's going to function properly. So when we put the right fuel into our body, we're also going to have the same effect and we're going to notice better energy levels. The third thing to naturally improve your energy levels is to take note of your mental stress. Sometimes we think we're really physically tired when in reality, we're actually just mentally drained. If you're like most people where you work at a desk all day, you might feel just completely drained at the end of the day. And it's not that you're actually physically tired, it's that your mental capacity has been stretched to the limits. You might also notice that, for example, after a really long meeting or a really long, deep conversation, you feel really, really tired, and going for a walk or having some exercise or doing anything that's actually productive for your health just seems like a massive chore and not something you want to do. The key thing here is that our mental tiredness can emerge as physical tiredness. And there are a few reasons for this. The first thing is that when we are chronically stressed, this is going to affect our sleep quality. If you're really stressed out, you might not be able to fall asleep as fast. You may wake up throughout the night. It doesn't allow ourselves to get into that deep sleep cycle that actually benefits our health and allows us to feel refreshed when we wake up. The second thing is that stress can affect our hormone levels. And when we are feeling really stressed out, our hormones get kind of thrown out of whack. And when you're feeling really stressed out, there are certain stress hormones, such as cortisol, for example, that increase to higher levels than we normally have. And unless your body actually can use these extra hormones, so for example, running away from a threat, then this actually can cause harm to our body over time because these hormones are really high and elevated and we're not properly using them. The third thing is that when we're really stressed, it's really easy to cope by having foods that we normally wouldn't eat, and maybe we don't exercise as much as we probably would want to. And this sucks because eating a proper diet and getting exercise both improve our energy levels and help to reduce stress. So it's a vicious cycle. So if you are experiencing stress, I do recommend that you find ways to manage your stress in a healthy, productive way. I do talk about this in one of my other videos where I talk about health goals to achieve in your 20s or any age. So I do recommend that you watch that video to learn more about how to properly deal with stress, and I'll leave that video in the description box below. The fourth thing to do to naturally increase your energy levels is to move your body. I know you've been told to exercise all the time, but there is a good reason for this. Obviously, exercise is really good for our health. It's really good for our muscles. It's really good for our heart. It's really good for just overall quality of our health, but it also does improve our sleep levels and our energy levels. Obviously, we know that exercise is really good for our heart and it's really good for our muscles, but sleep is actually really important for improving our energy levels and allowing our cells to get proper sleep. The first thing is that exercise helps to improve our blood flow. And when our blood is flowing properly, our heart is pumping it out throughout the body, this allows for blood to deliver oxygen, nutrients, and other important hormones that actually help to regulate our energy levels. The other thing is that if you've ever had a really good workout, you may notice that you have what's called a runner's high, or you feel really energized, you feel really light after. And this is thanks to two neurochemicals that are being released. One is endorphins and the other is endocannabinoids. And both of these have been linked to that kind of euphoric feeling that we have after exercising. Keep in mind though that if we are feeling more energized and our energy levels are getting heightened due to different hormones and neurochemicals being released, this is one of the reasons why most health experts recommend not exercising too close before bedtime, because these levels will be elevated and it might have a negative effect on your sleep quality. So getting in some exercise a few hours before bed or even earlier in the day is recommended. And finally, exercise has been shown to improve our mental focus and attention. So if you have a really big task coming up for the day, or for example, you have an exam later, it is a good idea to get in some exercise beforehand because it can actually help to improve your focus, your working memory, and your attention. And the final thing you can do to naturally increase your energy levels is to drink some water. I know this sounds like a simple task, but the amount of people that don't drink enough water is actually astounding. And a lot of people feel really tired and they think it's because they haven't eaten enough, they haven't slept well, when in reality it could be simply that they're dehydrated and could use some water. Some of the common symptoms of dehydration is that you feel really lethargic or tired, you might have a headache, you might feel nauseous, and all of these can kind of be disguised as just being physically tired. And really, if we were just to focus on getting a little bit more water in our day, this could dramatically improve our energy levels. Now, I'm not going to be that person that tells you to carry this massive, giant 4-liter water bottle around and drink the whole thing in a day. But what I do recommend is trying to sip on water throughout the day. Now, it does depend on my day, but let's say I'm going out and I'm not going to be home, then I love carrying a reusable water bottle so I can just sip on water as I go. If I'm at home, I always make sure that I have water beside me so that I can sip on it. And actually, I have water right here. So I always make sure that I have water on me to make sure that I'm staying hydrated. And what I notice is that when I'm staying hydrated, I don't actually snack as much as I normally do. I actually feel like my energy levels are good, but when I forget to drink water, I notice that I get kind of cranky, I feel really tired, I think I'm really hungry, when sometimes having a sip of water is that simple fix. And sometimes those little tiny things that are almost too simple as a solution are actually the things that are going to improve our energy levels the most. So I hope that this video was helpful in helping you identify little lifestyle habits that can naturally improve your energy levels. And there are plenty of other things that can help increase your energy levels, and if you want me to do another video on that, I can. Let me know in the comments below if you want another video, or tell me things that naturally increase your energy levels that you really like. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you liked it. I always appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video.